Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters and welcome to my craft table. Today we are going to make a card using the Papercraft Society box 38. I'll leave links down below in the description to the Papercraft Society, and I'll also leave a link to my unboxing if you're not familiar with what comes in the kit. This box is by Clare Roland, who's known as Daisy May, and it's a beautiful box full of beautiful products. So today I'm going to make with you an easel card, but this easel card has a twist. It's going to have a gatefold front to it. So when you pop it up and sit it into its easel position, you'll have two doors that open and you'll have a scene then behind those. So I'm excited to make this one with you. I don't know if it's been made before. I haven't seen anything on YouTube or Pinterest, so I'm not sure if I'm the first one to make this, but if it is made by someone else out there, I haven't seen this before. So anyway, I would, shout out to whoever had made it before if I'd known, but I don't know of anyone that has made this before. Okay, so next thing you'll see, I'm not going to put the measurements on the screen like I usually do. Please dip down again into the description below. I will have all the measurements written out there for you. And what else? Oh yes, if you like to make the cards that you see me make, please do go to Facebook. We have a new group called Your Cards and Crafts, and you can share any of the makes that you see on my channel. So other than that, don't forget, if you like my video, to like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get on with making it. So the first thing I have here is a card base, and this measures 12 inches by 6. I want to do a little bit of scoring on this. I'm going to score it at 3 inches and at 6 inches, and that will give us our easel base. So 3 and 6. So we'll have a 6 by 6 card base, and that's what this will fit into. Depending on how much dimension etc you put in the card, you will either need a bouncy envelope or a box envelope for this, but if you keep it nice and slim and trim, it should fit in a normal envelope. So this would be the normal profile for an easel card. So this is our base. I want to put a piece of pattern paper here to decorate it, and this piece here measures 5 3/4 by 2 3/4, and it's going to sit nicely in here. When the card is opened, then like this, we'll have some papers here, and for that I have this piece. It measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and it'll sit nicely there. We're going to put something across here that will hold our easel open. For that, I'm going to use some of the snowflakes and snowballs that came in the kit. So here I have the little snowballs that I stamped. There's a die that cuts these out. I've also got some of the snowflakes. I have die cut out Merry Christmas. This came from box 37 of the Papercraft Society by Sam Calcott and Made to Surprise. And I've also die cut out the name Jane in letters. I've used the Made to Surprise chunky alphabet dies for those. So they're my little other bits and pieces. So that is the basis of our easel card. To write a message or sentiment, I have a piece to go on the back. This piece measures again 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I have a strip of pattern paper here. It measures 5 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch, and I have embellished just below and just above using some of the Love from Lizzie peel-offs. So that is our easel base there. Next, we're going to look at our gatefold part of this card. So again, I have another piece of 12 by 6 cardstock, and onto this we want to make 2 score lines, and we're going to do one at 3 inches and one at 9 inches. and that will give us our gatefold. When these are both folded in, they should meet in the middle, and they should be nice and level with the card base. So there's one, and there is two. Mine aren't meeting exactly in the middle, but we will encourage that. There we go. So there is our gatefold. Now onto this we need to add some bits and pieces. I want to put 4 pieces of pattern paper onto the doors of our gatefold, and I have my printed up pattern paper here. We got downloads in our kit. There is a link in the booklet and in the Papercraft Society Box 38 Facebook group. I'm going to put these 2 on the front here, and then inside I'll put these 2 like that, and then that way these 2 will match this piece that we have going on with our base. Okay, now I want to do some cutting to the base of this, but we'll do that in a minute. What I'm going to talk to you about first is the rest of the pieces that we'll need for this. So I have taken a piece of cardstock and a piece of the pattern paper, and I've glued them together. One, so that it gives my pattern papers some stability. This is 280 GSM cardstock, and it's the little Crelando cardstock that I'm using. I've taken 2 dies, and these dies, the large circle die, let me just see, okay, so the large circle die measures 5 3/4 in diameter, and then the smaller one measures 4 5/8 in diameter. And this piece is going to go into our gatefold card. I had to stop and think there. Now you can see here my die cut out except for a little bit there, and that's fine. I'm going to go back in with this and I'll recut it, and this will sit back in here. It'll sit in like a jigsaw piece. Now I did know that that hadn't cut, but I left this in so you'd be able to see. When you pop your die back in place, it'll sit in like a jigsaw piece so that you can put that through again, and putting it through a second time will no doubt cut that straight through. So I'm going to do that now. And now you can see my die cut through no problem. So you may say, but Simone, you haven't got any pattern paper there on the bottom. I don't need it, because this piece is going to sit in here like so. What we are going to do is we are going to cut away part of this piece here. We're going to cut away a piece here, then we're going to stick this on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our little pieces. This is one of the die cut images that was in the toppers and downloading sheet. And then I'm going to add 2 snowbanks across the bottom here. So we'll have something that sits like that with our little man here, and this will be all open in the back. So I'm going to now look at the snowbanks with you. These 2 snowbanks that I have here, this one measures 5 7/8. The reason it's not 6 inches is because it allows room for our gatefold doors to close. So it's 5 7/8 by 3.5 from the highest point there down. So what I did was I cut it to size, and then I took my scissors and I just did these rolling hills with it. Then this one measures 5 7/8 again, and then it's 2 1/4 from its highest point down. And then again, I just cut in the Snowbank. I've taken the stamps that came in the kit, and I'll show you them here. I've taken the snowballs and I have stamped them twice, and then I've taken the falling snow and I've stamped some of that as well. And I have used my VersaFine Clare ink. It's Warm Breeze is the name of it, and I stamped it off a couple of times before stamping it down, so I'd have a second or third generation inking, so it would be lighter in colour. And I'm going to do that with this one with you in the video. Okay, so next I have this. This is another of the images like so that I printed up. And you can see it's a mirror image. Now, when we download the topper sheet, it gives us 2 of this image and 4 other images. What I did before I printed them was I got my printer to mirror the images so I could then cut them out. Now, I used the die. What I did was I held it up to the light and then I set the die over it, and then I die cut it out, and you can see it die cut it out perfectly. The rounded over edge for the die when it cuts is on this side, so if you don't like this look on this side, just take your bone folder and go over the edges and it'll flatten them down. But to be honest, you don't even notice it. When I attach this to the card on the front, I'm going to attach this on the back so that we won't just have a blank image. We'll have this image on the back as well. People won't really be looking at that, but I just think it tidies it up and makes it look better. So you don't need a mirror image. If you have one, you can use it, but you don't need to, but I will. Okay. I've also cut out this image. This image, I printed this on my printer and I printed them as half an A4, so it's an A5 page. And that way then what it does, I have it here, I'll just show you. It prints up the image then smaller than an A4 sheet. So I just took the image and I cut it out with a punch. I then punched out another circle and then another one on top of that. So altogether I have 3. So the white circle is a 3-inch diameter. The blue circle is a 2.5-inch diameter. And my white image here, this circle, is a 2.25-inch diameter. I also have this piece of cardstock. This piece measures just shy of 12 inches and it's 2 inches wide. And what I did with this piece was I took the large stamp, this stamp here that came in the kit, and I have stamped that using the same ink on this piece. And I just brought them close enough together. That's the dividing line there where I stamped it 4 times on this piece. This is going to be our belly band. It will wrap around our Easel Gatefold card, and then where it joins together at the front, I'll use my topper to close it over. So that's all the pieces that we will use in our card. What I want to go through with you now is the cutout we're going to do here. So what I want to do is I'm going to measure up. So with the card in this orientation, what I would like to do is take a ruler. My one has just gone walkabout. I found it. Okay, so on the 3-inch long score line here, I want to come up 3 inches. So if I put my ruler there, I can mark using a little pencil or my scoring tool. I'm going to mark up 3 inches and I'm going to put a little mark there on that score line. Then I'm going to come over to the other side to the other score line, and again I'm going to put a mark there at 3 inches. I'm going to then join those 2 marks together. Now you can use a pencil or whatever you like. I can see that score line here. So I want to cut away from the top down across this line here and back up. And when I cut down along here, I'm going to cut off this score line. So I will cut so that this gatefold, or this door here, will have a nice clean cut to it. So I'm going to do that next. So I've sped through this part now because you don't need to be watching me cutting it out, but I've left in me cutting it out. It took me a while because my vision isn't great. So there we go. Now I have my 2 gatefold doors like so. That means that our little circle here will be able to fit in, and the best way to do that is to have your piece there, and then you'll be able to sit that in there, and we'll sit it right in the middle. So then I'll have this going here, and what I might do is actually put this one here. I'll have this one here, and then this snowbank here. And then we'll have our little piece there, and we'll decorate the doors. So that is how that is going to look. Now it's just a matter of gluing down and assembling everything. So we're going to assemble now, and this piece is the piece that's going to go on the back of the easel card, and I've made sure that the writing on that is faced the wrong way to me, because if you turn it around and look at it from the back, you want to be able to read the writing on that. I'm going to then put the 2 panels on the inside, and I'm going with the lighter colours on the inside. I'll also put my snowdrift down, and I'll allow a little bit of the side there not to have glue. Now I have lifted up my snowbank so it's in line with the bottom edge of my pattern papers, and I'll also do that with the second snowbank. Now in hindsight, and I tell you this so that when you're making this card, I think I should have brought it down to the bottom edge of the card base itself. That way, because it and the second snowbank would be down against the bottom edge of the card, when it sits up against our stopper, our easel part of the stopper, it'll sit better. But it does sit perfectly well. It just meant I had to put a double layer of foam tape, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I do like to share these things as I'm going along. I have our lovely circular frame in place. Now I'm going to put down the second snowbank. And you see there I had a bit of foam to give some definition there and some height. Now you could go along the edges of the snowbanks there with a blending brush and put a bit of, you know, texture and dimension and all that there. I didn't bother, didn't think it needed it. Now here, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't put the mirror piece on yet until you stick the gatefold card onto the easel part of our card, then add it. But I just lifted it up a little and I get away with it. You'll see that later. Okay, so now I'm putting the 2 panels on the outside of our gatefold card base section, and I'm delighted with them. I like the darker blue, you know, here and on the back of the easel. So now you can see underneath where I have that mirror part, we need to glue that to the base of our easel along here. So it would have cut off the mirror image, and I didn't want that. So I've lifted it up, and I'm kind of figuring out what the best way is of sitting it down so you can see what I'm doing. And I figured that out. Now I can glue back down the part that I've lifted, and I can stick that on the back. And I really like this actually. It's one of those little things, you know, those little details. I just think it's so cute, and I'm delighted with that. So there we go. We have our gatefold card base stuck onto our easel card base, and now it's a matter of decoration. So this card is for my granddaughter Jane. It's I know it's not the traditional colors, you know, the pinks and all that kind of thing, but hey, you know, we're not traditional people anymore, really, and you can equate any color that you want to whatever sex you like. So I went with blue because I loved our little bear with his blue hat and his blue and red scarf, and that's why I went for blue. So I have the Jane letters die cut out in holographic, and it's like a pixelated holographic card. It's so cool when the light hits it. I got it on Amazon like so long ago, but you could use just silver card or holographic card, whatever you have in your stash. The letters I use, the dies I use to die cut out those letters are the Made to Surprise chunky alphabet die set. So I have that in. I have some of the snowflake dies used again on the holographic, and I'm going to add some of them around the card as well as on our frame. Now, where I put the Jane letters, I put them up a little higher than maybe what they should be, because they're just peeking over the top of the card when it's closed. I knew it was going to do that. There is enough room still for it to go in its envelope or box envelope, so I didn't mind that. And I know Alicia, the recipient, she won't even be bothered by that. But for me, looking at it, in, you know, a perfect world, you wouldn't see the letters Jane. But if that was the case, then they'd only be stuck on by the tops of the letters, and I really want them kind of, you know, centered, that each letter was centered on the frame. So I'm happy with it where it is, to be honest. Yeah, okay, so now you can see me here. I'm putting some foam onto the Merry Christmas. Now I doubled up that foam. I'm going to try and make sure that the card, when it's set up, looks like it's straight, and then I'm going to add the two other snowball sets down around that. I did debate putting them on the gatefold section, but to be honest, there is some dimension there with the raised snowbank, and I didn't want to add more. So now I have some more of this lovely holographic snowflakes that I die cut out, and I'm going to embellish these gatefold side panels inside. I'm keeping the outside plain. The Bellyband basically just has the topper, because I don't want anything on the closed card to look like a feature, you know, so people would be inclined to stand it up, you know, closed. That's how I kind of think of it. I want them to be seeing it open and go, oh, I must display it that way. If I was sending this to someone who I felt wasn't crafty or wouldn't know to stand it up as an easel card, I think what I would do is I would take a little picture of it, you know, with it tucked in, print that up, cut it out and put it in the card with a little note on the back to say, you know, stand your card up and tuck it behind the Merry Christmas. I've got the Made to Surprise stamps, and it's a fantastic stamp set, and it has all the turn and twist and pull and push and slide and all those things. So you could kind of put a tuck word behind the Merry Christmas or on the edge of the bottom of the card. But I think if I was, yeah, I would definitely take a little picture on my phone, send it to my printer and print it up. Just a small little, maybe 3 by 3 inch square that I could pop in with the card, you know. So now one of those snowflakes, when you cut it out, it gives what looks like little hearts. And I thought, I'm not wasting those, so I put some drops of glue around the card, one up beside our little polar bear having his chats with the fish, and the rest down and around the Merry Christmas sentiment. So there we are, guys. What do you think of our Easel Gatefold card with its cut out frame? I so love this card, and although there was lots of, you know, elements went into this card, once I had everything cut and die cut and ready to go, it was really quick to assemble. I'd say from like start to finish assembling this card took about 35-40 minutes. But I had done the prep of stamping on the Bellyband. I had my topper done. You know, all those little bits were all done already. So I'd say this card would probably take about an hour and a half, really, from start to finish. if you knew what papers you were using and the whole lot, I reckon you could have it done in an hour and a half if you sat down. But I love it. I love this card. I think it's a real wow feature. Now, this little thing here that I'm using on the edge of my card is a piece of candle wax. It's clear candle wax. I run it up and down the side of any card that has a belly band, and the belly band then just slides over, no problem. So there we go. There is our Easel Gatefold card with our lovely frame in it. We have our belly band on. And then when you open up the gatefold, you see this. And then it sits inside here like so and displays. And I just love it. I will put a little video or and pictures so that you can see it. It's kind of hard to show you here on the screen, but I'm delighted with it, and I hope I hope Jane's parents like it. Alicia knows how to sit a gatefold card, so she'll know that it sits like that. And I know blue isn't typically a girl's colour, but you know what? In this world, we no longer put pink to a girl and blue to a boy anymore. And I know that Alicia and Jens will love this colour palette for their little one and for our beautiful granddaughter. So I'm delighted with this card. I hope that you like this design and style of card. I've got plenty of room on the back to write my message. I'm not going to stamp a sentiment because this is for our grandchild's first Christmas. So I want to put a lovely message here from Mike and I for Jane so that she'll have these when she gets older. She'd be able to look back at the lovely cards that I made for her through the years. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial making our Easel Gatefold card. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. And if not, please do click on the subscribe button. Click on the bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. And leave a comment. I love to read your comments and I do my very best to answer every comment because you know, this for me is just a little hobby that I enjoy doing, and to get your feedback, it just makes my day so much. It really does. I'd like to say thank you to Clare Roland for the beautiful images and Papercraft Society box that she gave us for this Christmas. And to all of you, I would like to say thanks so much for watching. I hope if you make this card using either the products from Papercraft Society box 38 or whatever you have in your stash, I hope you'll join us on your cards and crafts and share your cards there. So that's it. Until next time, I'm going to leave you now. Have a great week and I'll see you soon. Bye.